In the second, at the second ban, Valentina this time banned out by EVOS Legends, and Joy will be the ban for Aura Fire.
Honestly, you don't always see the Yves and Valentina banned out first phase by the same team. This is kind of rare, but that also means that for popular majors, Farsa is still open. I don't know if they want to spend a ban on the Farsa. I don't think it's going to be worth it, so you might as well spend a ban on some of the junglers that we mentioned earlier on. Lancelot is still open, or maybe even the Martyrs is kind of dangerous as well. It's also open. Novaria perhaps would be an interesting ban as well.
I was also thinking of the Novaria, right? You go down the list, there's Novaria, there's Farsa, there's Lunox, Lilia, Savior, but I think there's also the Faramis. Faramis was also banned out in the first phase last game. Aura Fire still sticking with the same Angela ban, so they don't have much changes on their end. The question is, what is EVOS Legends going to ban now? Because the Fanny is still open, right? And that was the first ban that they went for in game number 1. So you kind of see the shift a little bit in terms of priority. They're trying to shut down Sin, but I do not feel like Sin was the biggest problem. I think that Farsa was great, but he's not the one that wins the game for his team.
Yeah, I guess the Farsa pick was just because they had a Valentina earlier on. But finally we see the Fanny.
They could pick Farsa though.
They could, and I think it's going to be a good pick though. Then it's going to be a question of like, how do you counter the Farsa? But there are a lot of counters to Farsa. You got like a Kufra who can counter the Farsa. Even like Kaja can counter the Farsa as well because it's stationary. You can just flicker in and drag her out. So that's okay. But for the final ban, okay, this is Aura Fire we're talking about. They can potentially ban out. I'm thinking of not the Novaria, but I'm thinking more on the Martyrs though. I think it's a little bit more dangerous considering that Martyrs is anti-CC.
I think you just go for a ban that is not that niche, right?
My own
the Faramis, I believe. No, it's the Arlot, excuse me. The Arlot getting banned out by Aura Fire. This alludes to a very... It feels like it's going to be that Farsa on the side of EVOS Legends, but they're going to keep it for now because it is too risky of an opener. They will take away the heal first and kind of leave it to Aura Fire to see if they want to bite the bait. Because overall, if you take the Farsa, you immediately lock out Faramis for the enemy lane. So for Aura Fire, they say, you know what, we're going to pick the Faramis anyways. We're also going to slot in the Claude just like we did in the last game.
Oh, despite Faramis has been nerfed, seems to be still picked up. It was banned out in the previous series, so interesting enough. I wonder how is it going to adapt to the nerf with the Count Alta's cooldown being extended to almost like a minute, and that's kind of long, really, a minute or more, I believe. But anyway, so coming back to EVOS Legends now, is now their turn to pick. They can still try to pick out the junglers. Even if Taz plays the Lancelot, it's fine because he has a decent win rate with the Lancelot too.
You go for the Lancelot? I don't think they do, right? I think they just go for something that can kind of catch these heroes off guard. Like the Faramis, the Claw, you need someone that either bullies them out of lane, or when they show up in a fight and they unleash their ultimate, you want to instantly burst them. So the Kadita and the Beatrix, perfect. Beatrix completely bullies Claude in lane. You have the Kadita and Paquito, massive burst damage, very mobile, and the Kadita can flex into the roam and the mid lane.
Yes, and Kadita can do a lot of one-shot stuff. So for Aura Fire, they need to be careful of whoever they pick after this. It has to be able to deal with the surprise one-shot coming in for Kadita. At this point, they might want to leave the tanks out for later. Fadrin is still open though, so why not? Go for the Fadrin. Yeah,
there it is. Good call, Cloudy Boy.
Ooh.
Yeah, getting the hang of it. But this Fadrin is still kind of up in the air. Right? Can still be a jungler, can still be the XP laner. We've seen both variations of that. I think if you're the Frederick in this case, it really comes down to where the Paquito goes. I'm not sure if it matters too much for Aura Fire, but if you want to give a bad matchup to the Paquito, and you have to kind of find out if he's in the jungle or in that XP lane. And good news for Aura Fire is that they have the last pick again, so they will get to see the full cards, the full deck of cards of EVOS Legends.
Ooh. Now ban phase. Both sides need to ban out tanks. Minotaur banned out. Okay. Interesting, because the last time we saw EVOS Legends Dreams playing Minotaur, he didn't have a good time though. I was kind of expecting that they would ban out the Kaja, but I guess like what you said, like for Indonesian teams, they always leave out the Kaja for some reason. But
I feel like I feel like for Aura Fire, the Minotaur ban makes some sense as well, because you don't want this big angry bull just using the Minotaur's rage and just knocking everyone up. You have the farmers, right? So when you use the call altar, you want everyone to come guys, let's huddle together, and then you have this big angry bull just knock everyone up. They don't want that, so I like this ban a lot.
Okay, this makes me wonder, like, why have we not seen a Grok, at least in the first two series that we have seen? I think Grok is still pretty viable though. I mean, with the wild charge to open up fights, that's pretty nice. If you think about it, it works for either side as well with whatever composition.
What's going to be the choice for Aura Fire this time? What are the disruptors that can ban? The Akai, probably.
Still sword.
They ban on the Link
deep.
instead. It's another hero that is very elusive for them to catch, and us pose a bit of a problem for what their lineup is. Kind of puts the onus onto EVOS Legends. They ban the Kufra again as usual because they have very mobile heroes. The Paquito, the Beatrix, they all like to run around, and the Kufra just doesn't allow that to happen.
Yeah, I think you make a good point about mobility now that there's no link.
The falling stars brought us here.
Novaria is bad out, so I think we kind of talked about this during the early phase of the draft, that it's the right one to ban out. I guess mobility-wise, both teams could use it. I'm still wondering, where is the Lancelot? Like, is the Lancelot really going to show itself? But okay.
I don't think you pick Lancelot at this point, right? I feel like if you are, maybe if you're Aura Fire, you can still be like, yeah, we will put this Fredrin in the XP lane and we will run the Lancelot jungle because they have the last pick, right? So Lancelot last pick, not too big of a surprise. But EVOS Legends, I feel like there's no more room for the Lancelot. You are dealing with the Fredrin, the Grok, the farmers. It's a death sentence if you kind of just dive into the midst of things. And you know, worst of all, the Farsa is still up, but because of the Grok, now EVOS Legends are caught in a bad spot. They're like, if we put the Kadita roam and we take Farsa, the Grok is going to smash her. But if we put the Kadita mid, who's going to be our roamer?
Well, I guess we get our answer now. I get a pick, so it looks like it's going to be Uranus and Terizla again. Okay, so the roamer might be Uranus this time.
It very well could be. I think that I feel like the Grok pick definitely is a smart read from Aura Fire. You really stopped a lot of what EVOS Legends want to do. If they were ever considering the Farsa, this one Grok shut that all down, and now they get to decide who they want to pick for the jungler, because you know for a fact that this is going to be a Paquito jungle. So Aura Fire, they get to have the freedom to kind of figure out, do we want to run the Lancelot jungle? I think it's not the worst, honestly.
When you gaze into
Okay,
the
I'm
abyss,
really liking the Grok pick on Aura Fire. I can imagine the combo. Wait, okay, we don't get to see this very often.
So it's a Paquito jungle, it's a Terizla mid, it's a Dreams Kadita.
Right.
We have a Grok XP into the Uranus. It's like, yeah, I mean, Kimura has had enough. He's like, alright, you bullied me when I played Paquito, now I'm Grok.
Okay, so here comes to the question, right? Like, how are they going to deal with Uranus? But I think this time around, it's not about them dealing with Uranus directly, but they can pretty much do the same thing like before. It's like, kind of play Uranus with his game. Like, don't need to engage directly, but you kind of indirectly engage with him. Not allowing him space to take down the turrets, that's number one. And when Uranus again is forced to join the team fight, you just totally ignore him, like the spoiled brat, like you mentioned.
Yeah, you know, like it's like in a restaurant, right? Not in a restaurant, sorry. When he throws a tantrum, it's like you bring your child to a store. The child wants candy, you say no. The child throws a tantrum and rolls on the floor. You just ignore it. Let public embarrassment take him out. I don't know if that applies to Uranus, but you get the idea.
Yeah, Yeah, let it happen by its own, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking and letting it happen, we are going into game number 2. It's gonna be EVOS Legends against Aura Fire. And based on this matchup, honestly, I'm liking Aura Fire's matchup. I did talk about the Grok being missing for quite a bit. I'm glad that it's being picked up because I can imagine like the barrier, wall charge, and then you have the blazing duet coming in to finish it off, and then you have Faramis to bail everyone out after that with the Cult Altar.
They definitely have more ways to deal with the Uranus though, because Uranus thrives in being annoying, constantly healing with the consecration, being fast. You can't stop him. But if a Selena's done, you have the Fredrin, you have the Grok, you have the Faramis pull him back. So it's like putting the baby leash on the baby, right? The baby can't run amok like they want to. He's always pulled back. The parents say, no, come back, and then he comes back. That's kind of how it feels like. Fluffy does have the Purify, just in case he gets crowd control, because he knows that with this amount of crowd control, if he gets caught and he doesn't have Purify, he's a toast. He's toasted. So Purify is going to be it.
Ooh, okay. Speaking of Fluffy now, he's doing what Fluffy does. Pretty much the same strat. Try to go in onto the back, try to disrupt the jungles as a start, and maybe later on disrupting the lanes. But like what you said, just ignore the spoiled brats. But in the mid lane, we should see a first blood soon.
Attempted one at least. Oh my goodness. Praise the crash. See the arrow coming through as well from high. Not landing onto anyone, but Taz against Van is just going to be a wet noodle fight.
What's a wet noodle fight?
Oh, wet noodle fight basically means, you know, the pool noodles, like those that you see at pools and people used to just slap each other for fun. Wet noodle fight means that both of them are not dealing damage. It's like you're tickling each other.
Okay. I mean, I haven't been in a wet noodle fight before.
No, me neither.
Can't really imagine that. But we might see a wet noodle fight here as both teams try to get the first objective.
Flicker, penalty zone, the Praise grab, keeping Van alive, and here comes the Call Altar from Sin, saving everyone from his team. So you bring out a Flicker, a Purify, and 2 ultimates from the side of EVOS Legends, and they are not able to get anything. Well, they did get the Call Altar out. That's pretty much it. Or a Fire looking to take the first turtle off the game. Yumi in the front, Karissa pretty durable, Fluffy by side, Kimura is there though, and this time it's going to be EVOS Legend that takes the turtle away. A Praise Grab used again, Van misses it, Taz shows up, the damage is not dealt, and EVOS Legends disengage.
And that is what EVOS Legends want, right? They just want to bait out the Cult Altar because they know that the cooldown of Cult Altar now is longer. So the moment that Cult Altar is not there, then it's going to be easy for them to just directly engage with the objective.
Oh yeah, you basically just take away it's such a strong skill, right? I say a strong skill, but you know, it was once even stronger. But the long cooldown does make you rethink, want to use it sparingly. That's why Fleeting Time is now such a good item on Faramis. The cooldown reduction does help. Let's go for the toughness boots. Hijume making that early rotate already, and there's no one that can fight him early on. I mean, Terizla's passive, the damage reduction to lower your health rate does make it a bit hard, as Dreams will be forced to use that ultimate to get away. Vandal, actually Hijume, the knockup is there, crowd control, Hijume looking to get out of this, penalty zone use as well, the Beatrix rocket barrage is going to be there, but still pulls Hijume back for first blood for Kabuki, the little arrow doesn't connect, but Taz is on the run, and Blazing Duet to follow up, and it's going to be a second one for Aura Fire, Sin picks up that one, and Kimura charges in and just rams him into the dust. 3 for Aura Fire, Fluffy looking to be the 4th, but this Uranus barely walking out with his life.
Yeah, that's the sport brat that you just want to ignore. You give him a slap, he continues to cry, and you just ignore him. You don't give him the attention, and he goes away by his own. But it also opens up the purple buff for Van to easily take. Wait,
did you get it? Oh, good attempt by Taz, but Van just steals it away. A very interesting series of events. Aura Fire getting 3 isolated kills. Kimura rotating to get that kill in the mid side, I believe, onto Brands is absolutely huge. He just got the Blade of Hephaestus as well, so this Grok is going to deal massive damage with every swing of the totem.
Yeah, this is the Grok that you need to be careful, especially when it comes to team fight. His barrier is going to allow Kabuki to deal a lot of damage with his ult. So that could happen anytime soon as Kimura, he's positioning inside the backline. Anytime he can go on to maybe like Hijume or someone at the back, maybe like Dreams or so.
Barrier is used as well. Hijume again with penalty zone onto 2. Van and Kimura still very healthy. Van goes in, tries to fight for the turtle, but Taz secures it again. Hot ultra used by Sin to keep his team alive, and both teams disengage once more.
More objectives secured by EVOS Legends this time, but they still don't get the goal lead. RFI still has the goal lead thanks to their 3 early kills. Kimura buying some time though, but everyone's onto him now. Taz will jump in anytime soon.
The wild charge wants to clear the siege minion, but can't do it in time. Doesn't have the damage and punished by EVOS Legends as they take down the bot tier 1.
Yeah, at this point, still about 6 minutes and they are pretty close to each other, so I can't say that anyone has any significant items just yet. Not even a dominance ice is used, but Dreams is in trouble.
Lazy duet used. Very good pincer right there. Hijume does show out to help his team, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. But I think it's more worth for Aura Fire. Kabuki now 2-0 and just not even getting the flicker and the kill onto Brand.
Expect because there's a Terizla, right? That's Hijume on the side of EVOS Legends. So expect that Aura Fire, one of them, to get a dominance ice to really deal with Hijume. And I think that it will be like maybe the second item for maybe like Sin or someone, or maybe not Sin, Kimura, to try to deal with Hijume.
And Dreams just exploded as High and Sin locked him down. And the Selena Abyssal Arrow connects, full combo. Absolutely deadly. And High wants more player hero that allows the team to get
watch out.
Flicker, wild charge straight into the middle. Taz is the target. Not the easiest to take down. They want this tier 1, but it's just barely alive. The call ultra from just in time to keep Van alive. But Van still ends up going down as he exits the radius. Taken down by Brand from long range.
Wow, the wild charge coming from behind. I mean, that was brilliant. It's just too bad they couldn't take down the turret, and the turret was stopping Aura Fire from getting more kills, and they were countered instead with Van going down. And again, disciplined gameplay for Aura Fire. The moment they know that, okay, Van is not there, they immediately disengage. It just shows that they themselves know that they rely heavily onto Van's survivability.
I think it's a miscalculation in damage as well, right? They brought like, what, 4 members in the mid side and couldn't take the structure. Fluffy showing up to protect that turret himself. It's gonna be a stalemate again because the third turtle just got taken by EVOS Legends. Aura Fire will be forced to slow down a little bit.
As compared to before, we don't see Fluffy getting as much space to go to the back line and doing what he did as a Uranus this time. He joins in the fight a little bit more this time around. But like what we discussed, the moment he joins in the fight, like everyone just ignores him. So I guess he might be better off just doing like cutting the wave sort of strategy.
That could be it, right? They just lost the bot tier 1. Fluffy pushing the wave as always. Hijume losing a lot of health. Van still follows up with it. The Appraisal Graph, not enough to take him out. Aura Fire, if there's one thing that they're good at, is to stick onto you. Most of the heroes have the ability to either keep you in place or just stick onto you. Taz actually gets the kill onto High and even burns his flicker.
Wow, okay, still managed to get that. And with that kill, now they have the lead in terms of goal. Okay, at least now the goal lead, I believe for the first time, EVOS Legends have this lead. And we can see how effective, okay, because they have Hijume, right, as tanky enough, this should allow enough space for Fluffy to just do whatever Uranus does on the side lane. And if they can keep on doing like that, they can put pressure onto multiple lanes just like what they're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also want to have this Paquito getting a good game. That's the important part. Paquito starts snowballing. It can't be a problem. Hijume flicked the spawn with the penalty zone. His thin air. Dream shows up, couldn't find a target, forced to disengage with the ultimate, and Van just re-engages. And now the full damage comes in from Aura Fire. EVOS Legends absolutely punished for the fight that they started. Fluffy shows up and he's like, my parents are no longer there. So Aura Fire forces him back. There's 2 for Aura Fire. And guess what, Cloud? The Lord is up.
Yeah, what a good timing for them to get those kills. This should open up space for the Lord. Fluffy now is the center of attention, but They're not able to take it down just yet. They're not overextending their fight against Fluffy. They gotta keep their eye on Taz because Taz will be eyeing to land the retribution, but they see him and now they're shooing him away.
He used everything. Kabuki is toying with them at this point. Aura of Fire back in the driver's seat with the Lord. It's just the first, but it's the first step to the 2-0.
Finally, being able to secure that objective. Van must be missing his retributions landing on the spot. And now Kimura all alone but surrounded by the members of EVOS Legends. I'm still waiting for the moment where Fluffy will go back onto the lanes because I think he is really effective when he does that because again, every time he joins fights, nobody gives attention to him. He might as well just shove out the side lanes.
Fluffy is now caught in a rough spot, right? Because he doesn't have the same freedom that he did in game 1. He has lesser space, lesser time to push the side lanes. You have Kabuki who is ramping up right now on this Claude. Aura Fight taking over the jungle, and Fluffy is like every time he sees Kabuki, he's on the run. Look at that, Kabuki shredding through his health pool.
Ooh.
That's half his health pool, and it's a Uranus. Flicker War Charge almost connecting onto Brand. That could have been lethal. As EVOS Legends tries to stop the sword. Should be able to do so without much problem, so then mid-tier 2 continues to stand.
Good attempt, wild charge there by Kimura, but unfortunately did not land. But look who was creating trouble at the bottom lane. It was Taz. No wonder Taz didn't join the fight. And Taz took over the role of Fluffy to just dish out damage at the bottom lane, just clear out those waves, forcing Aura Fire to come back.
Kabuki, he is playing so far forward. He's been really good about himself. Again, he also has a Purify. But the most important thing is that he knows that EVOS Legends can't kill him. There are a lot of ways to take him out, don't get me wrong. But he's feeling so good.
Speaking about feeling good, now Fluffy is feeling good at the top lane. He's just doing whatever he does. But he is attracted to move to the mid lane, it seems. Okay, not sure yet. They're keeping an eye on his movement. He's still staying at the top. So he's playing that little bit of a split push there. But speaking of pushing, EVOS Legends might be tempted to go in to try to catch someone.
Yeah, and they are starting to feel the nerves a little bit. Hijume just blew the penalty zone in an attempt to catch Sin, who is a pharmacist and has Flicker. So no penalty zone for quite a while. It will be back up just in time for Lord, that is for sure. Kimura will keep Fluffy occupied as High continues to gain vision with the Abyssal Arrow. He's making sure that wherever EVOS Legends steps, Aura Fire will have a good read on it. And you see the distribution of members, right? Aura Fire, they are leaning more towards the top side, but it does put a lot of pressure on Fluffy. Beams are going to come in and try to get the one shot, and that is exactly what they need. The Abyssal Arrow lands from High, but he knows the time to finish the job. However, he's able to show up. Beams are going to be targeted. Kabuki trying to run him down with Van by his side, and Kabuki finds that kill alongside Van. That's a 1-for-1. Fluffy running towards his team as they now start to work on the Lord.
Okay, I think going in for Fluffy, but no, the counter comes in from Hijume. And now 3 onto Hijume, but he should be able to get away to safety.
Yeah, the Lord was taken by EVOS Legends in the meantime. Very good decision making. Minimize the loss a little bit. So EVOS Legends, they get to keep themselves in the game because of that one call. They took the Lord and a 1-for-1 trade. That means that they've equalized the state of the game.
Yeah, and actually before this, I was about to point out that Dreams have yet to create a big move yet. The one shots that we talk about. But we managed to see just one so far. But you kind of think about it, it was not really maximized. Like, he couldn't find the right targets. And I think that's also because of Sin with the Cult Altar stopping that from happening. Or High is just staying a good distance away that he could not find a one-shot rough ways onto him.
Yeah, absolutely. Lord's going to be taken care of very quickly though. Van puts himself in a brush, reaches the back line, draws attention of EVOS Legends. They're going to unleash everything. All of the skills misses onto Van. That's 3 ultimates, Cloud. And they miss everything. Dreams are going to lose his life in the meantime. Kabuki chases him down. Massive disasters for EVOS Legend. The Abyssal Arrow lands on the Hijumi. Aura Fire slowly pushes EVOS Legends back.
Dreams not having a good game, except for that one rough waves. Other than that, it's been a tough round for him. But because of Dreams is not there, they don't have the manpower. Now, Aura Fire will happily take the bottom, but they now need to deal with the movement of Taz going up to the top as well.
Yeah, And I mean, rough wave, rough game for Dreams. 0-4 so far. Taz trying to cut the wave. By Kabuki. Winds of Nature is going to be there. Kabuki will never lose this. And Taz is now in a world of her high, just flickers and just absolutely slices him apart. And EVOS Legends, they are slowly crumbling, Cloud.
Yeah, and right now Aura Fire, they do have control of the map, and with about a minute before the next lot comes up, I guess they are just shoving the wave, and the moment that lot comes up, they will move towards there. Now it's just pushing back the rest of EVOS Legends back into their base.
Yeah, Fluffy had to use the Purify because of the Abyssal Arrow earlier on from high. And that's how concerned he is of Aura Fire at this point of time. He instantly pressed Purify. All while Van was corralling the remaining 4 members of EVOS Legends back to their base. Lord up in 30 seconds. Aura Fire in full control of this game. Dream and Fluffy need to get for one shot, but this time the wild charge is going to be there. Kimura will survive.
Oh, but the counter is coming in, Van.
Arrow.
This arrow will not land, but it's okay. It's probably not their main objective because the rest of EVOS Legends is around, so they don't want to overcommit.
And Aura Fire, they're not too concerned as well. EVOS Legends, they do have members on the top side, but Aura Fire, they're also moving there as well. They can bring Kabuki in. Alongside Kimura to do with Fluffy, look at his health bar. Absolutely shredded. Forcing him to pop the Consecration, to pop that ultimate, to heal back up.
Now, objective done. The objective is not to get the kill on the Fluffy, but just to shoo him back, just to buy time. Now that objective is up, Van is ready. He's opening it up. I don't know. Okay, look at the current situation. Taz needs to be able to steal it away. Now, he still has Kylo and he's close by, but he can't get any closer because Kimura is there. And Kimura has the wild charge to counter.
Yeah, Taz, he's already too late. This Lord is pretty much Aura Fire's Lord. Hijume shows up and loses half his health bar. Such a tough game, honestly, for EVOS Legends to play.
Yeah, it feels like almost like the same story as the first round. Starting out the game, it looks like, okay, looking good, seems to be having control, but when it comes to the mid-game onwards towards the late game, you can see the shift of power towards Aura Fire. And at this point, Dreams is still suffering. He's being hunted down. They know that he's an easy target. But this time around, luckily Dreams managed to sidestep away, and he's still alive for now, still maintaining a full team. While RFI just buying time for the lot to push in onto the top lane, and then they will all go in onto the inhibitor.
Before Aura Fire, they are just going to let the Lord push in from the top lane while they corral EVOS Legends on the mid and bot. And there's nothing that EVOS Legends can do. One Abyssal Arrow lands outside the base and you are toast. Bad. Whoa! Massive damage, and the one they got was Gran of all things. Uh-oh, EVOS Legends in a big world of trouble. They need at least 35 more seconds for Brand to come back, but I'm not sure if Aura Fire are going to give them that luxury. The mid inhibitor down already. Aura Fire in the base. Taz to give her an opening. Can't do so. Fluffy pulled back by Sin. Immortality is going to go down. Big penalty zone on the tree. Hijume starting to fight. Taz just about to join, but the Cult Altar will keep everyone from Aura Fire alive. Hijume about to go down, able to get away. The Abyssal Arrow lands onto the backline, and that's Taz down. Aura Fire, 5 men strong on the Crystal. 3 dead for EVOS Legends. Fluffy and Dreams trying to hold on to the game. France needs 3 more seconds, but Aura Fire will not give them that. Kabuki ends it all, and Aura Fire is 2-0 up EVOS Legends. What a victory in the series.
Dude, the moment they lost France, the moment they don't have that marksman, it was very difficult for them to defend. They don't have a strong linear wave clearer. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Beatrix was one of the best, right? In terms of clearing up linear waves, and without that, all the waves being shoved in, Aura Fire just steamrolled towards the end.
Absolutely steamroll. I mean, for the